Well, thanks everybody for coming. Ms. Lindsay and I are really happy to have you here for our second family forum. So we hope all of you guys had an absolutely perfect Thanksgiving. We hope all of you will have a fantastic holiday season as well. We just wanted to give you a few updates before we open up to question and answer. So we'll probably go for about 15-20 minutes with a few updates, and then we'll have some question and answer until about 9:30. We're due to end about 9:30. I teach a third period class, so I have to be fairly prompt today, or my kids will get upset with me. So just a couple quick updates. First, we really heartily encourage all of your questions and feedback that you can give us. We do ask that if you have a specific concern about a teacher or a specific concern about one of your kids, certainly very, very important to Ellen and I. We want to hear that. That's probably best that we meet personally one-on-one for that, or in private. That would be great. And we certainly do want to hear that. I don't want to discourage you from saying that. But we do want the focus to generally be kind of a global issues or issues that affect lots of folks at the forum. So with that said, I want to go back to our last family forum. Our last family forum was in September, and in September there were lots of great questions raised. There were three really important concerns, topics that came up, and we just wanted to show you and talk to you a little bit about what we've done to address each of those issues. So I'm going to go in order of those issues. So one of the issues was about AMSA carpooling. The question came up how we could help assist you in getting to school and carpooling. And what I can tell you is that we just recently purchased a software called Carpool to School. We just purchased this about 2 weeks ago or so. So we're getting it up to date. We're going to get it up to speed. The Carpool to School software that we have will enable you to locate and find a fellow parent who's close and can carpool with you to school. It will help you in the mornings. It could help you with after-school activities for things such as dances. Basically what you'll do is you'll input your information into this, and then it will help share everybody's information. So more updates to that will be coming, but hopefully we think it'll be a really good way for all of you to save lots of time and effort. Second thing, there was a big topic came up was about clubs and how you get information about clubs. So what we are doing about that, all of the club information is still on the AMSA webpage. So if you go to the tab Student Life, click that Student Life tab, go to the club section, you will see all the club information there. But what we thought would be even better is to place all the club information on PLUS Portals. So you will be able to access through PLUS Portals student grades, but you'll also be able to access all the club information through PLUS Portals, trying to make it as easy for you as possible. So that information would include what the club is, a brief description of the club, who runs the club, how many kids are in the club, so forth and so on, right through PLUS Portals.
Can I jump in?
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right. So the page actually that's on the AMSA website is actually new, the club information. So when you, as Dr. Lewis said, you go into Student Life and you click on the clubs. It's all new, and there's a paragraph that lists what each club is, the cost of the club, and there's a link there with a video. And that video is the kids talking about what the club is at a community meeting that we had. Mr. Finkel chopped them all up. So there's a little addition there from the kids saying, our club is the, you know, blah, 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 and this is what we do. And so that is a nice new fun addition. Also, on the PLUS Portals, eventually you're going to be able to pay for clubs there. So that was also one of the new additions to the PLUS Portal side of things.
Excellent, great. that's the information about clubs. And then the last big question that came up, big topic that came up, was about accessing homework. This was particularly relevant for 6th grade parents. So we did a couple things about that. First, all the 6th grade teachers got together and produced a very handy-dandy kind of chart that shows each teacher, each subject, their email information, and where their homework is posted, either it be in Google Classroom or it be in Plus Portals. So if you don't have that, it's right here. It's also on our website too, under Student Life. We also decided to produce a video, a how-to video. So with Mr. Finkel's tremendous help, we're producing several how-to videos that kind of explain basic policies. So we have a cell phone video that explains our cell phone policy. We have a backpack video that explains our backpack policy. And the newest addition to the these how-to videos is the homework policy, which explains the basic approach to homework that we have for the middle school, for the high school as well, but particularly for the middle school. It's a 6.5-minute video. I'll just start it. We'll just watch a quick 2-3 minutes. We are hoping that as questions such as this come up, that these videos will be a very helpful way for you to get information, to access it really quickly, instead of having to wait for a family forum. So
are they on the website or are they on Facebook?
Yes, they're on the website. They're
also on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
But there's a link under Parents. This is how-to videos.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so this is under Parents, and it's under how-to videos.
About another feedback question. This one has come from parents in regards to how to find their children's homework and to help best support their children, making sure they're getting their homework done on time. So there's a couple of things that we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show you some things on the computer, but I also want to reiterate the fact that the first place that you should be going for homework is the planner. Every student, particularly in the lower school, is issued a planner. At the high school level, they get to sort of choose their own and make it their best to their ability, but in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, we do send home a planner for them, and that's where all of their homework assignments should be going in. The teachers give time at the start and end of each class to write down homework, go over homework, and make sure that they really understand what is due for them for the next coming days or days, especially if they have a class that meets every other day. The other place that we can go, which is what we're going to talk a little bit about today, is to Plus Portals. So I've already logged in to my 2 imaginary children here at AMSA, and so you would go to the normal Plus Portals plusportals.com/AMSACS, and then use your username and login. I have already done that, so let me show you a little bit about my 2 children, Charles and Kendall. So we're going to look with Charles in Plus Portals. We're going to look down on the fact that if I click on him, I can pull up his information. It takes a second to load. Notice Kendall is still there, but she's off to the side. All of this information is about Charles. So in this case, it's going to show me his most recent grades here in the 2nd marking period, and then.
So it's a great video. She goes on to explain about how you access homework through Plus Portals. She goes on to explain how to access assignments if the teacher posts it on Google Classroom. So they're great informational videos. More will be coming out, and we hope to use these videos to address, help you with the concerns that you raise. So more information will be coming out on the clubs and putting that up on Plus Portals, and more information will be coming out as well about our carpooling app. So those are some of the things that we're working on in response to the concerns that you raise. Every concern that you raise is really important, and we definitely want to address it. Ms. Lindsay also has a few updates for you before we get to the questions.
All right, one of the topics that we've spent a lot of time talking about is our culture here, the culture of the community and the diversity that we have within the AMSA community. And so I just want to give you a couple updates of things that we've been doing. We've put together a group, and I've called it the Principals Council on Community Affairs. And we have 10 students that are involved in that. They're in grades 11 and 12. We've met 3 times. Yesterday was our last meeting. And they're working with me to develop different activities and ideas that they have to bring the AMSA community together. Do you want to scoot up? I feel like you're around the other side of the pole there.
That's okay.
Sorry.
I can hear you.
You're kind of, okay, so they've been a great group to work with. They've brought a lot of things forward to us. They have some great ideas. They've been helping me work. We're going to have a community meeting on Friday the 15th. And so, you know, we're talking about how to make that very inclusive around the holiday times. I've asked for, it's gone out in the weekly flyer, the weekly newsletter, and some emails looking for different acts to represent different cultures around this time of year. So if you know anyone who sings a particular holiday song, or we could even, you know, a dance to represent Diwali, and anything that is representative of you and your culture and your family that you would like us to share that day, we're putting the program together now. So we're working with Mr. Finkel. The students are on a video to show at that community meeting. Talking about the different ways people celebrate the holidays, and hope to have different languages represented too. So I think it could be a really wonderful, inclusive type video. So that's something that we're working on with those students. We've also put together a group of adults in the community who want to work on these topics with me too. There's 14 adults, teachers, staff that are involved in that. We met for the first time this week. The kids are looking forward to getting together with those teachers too, and having a big group of 24 who are working with me and with Dr. Lewis on creating a more inclusive community here at AMSA, and in love and respect of everyone, every member of our community. So that's one of the things that we're working on. The students have talked about, we have grade level meetings now each quarter. They're going to go to the grade levels in January and talk about, you know, respecting and care for others. It's definitely, they feel very strongly that we need to address the racism issues at AMSA, and they have made it very clear to me that they're calling it like they see it, and they want to be out there and they want to do the work. So I'm supporting them and looking forward to working with them throughout the next forever, however long. We need to be working on that every day. We also have been talking a lot about the emotional well-being of our students, and want to let you know we're bringing back Wellness Day. For those of you who have been in the AMSA community for any number of years, Wellness Day was something that was put on by the school counseling department. It's going to be a half a day, January 26th. The teachers at PD in the afternoon, but this will be during the day. We have a speaker coming in that's going to be talking about substance abuse. We have, the kids will be having an opportunity to do some yoga and to go to different activities, kind of a health fair with pamphlets about keeping healthy and exercise, and they're working on the agenda right now. But this is something that used to be done every year at AMSA, and was stopped a couple of years ago. So we're going to bring that back.
Add one thing. Yes. So related to the emotional well-being of our kids, a lot of the feedback that we've gotten from parents and from students is about different sources of stress at AMSA. One is social, one is academic, and on the academic side, one of the issues that comes up is the amount of homework, the expectations for each class. And so one way that we're trying to address that is that we are, two things. One is that we are rolling out our course catalog much sooner than we ever have before. So you will be shortly seeing the course catalog. and we will have a much longer window of opportunity for students and for parents to look at courses for next year. So instead of a 2-week or 3-week window, you'll have much of December and then almost all of January to have a really serious conversation with your kids, with guidance counselors, with teachers, and really look at the classes and say, can I do this if I'm doing this sport? Can I do all of these AP classes? Can I do this honors class? Can I do all of this stuff? We will also have kind of an average amount of homework for each class. So there'll be, 2 hours a week for this class, or 3 hours for this, or 1 hour for this, or a half hour for that. And that, too, we hope will have lead to good conversations where students can really see, geez, if I took all these classes, I'd have 400 hours of homework a week. Maybe I don't want to do that. So hopefully that'll help.
Yeah. And just to add in there also that the school counselors now, because they're going to have so much time that the course catalog is going to be up, that they're going to have time to meet with every single student individually, which they've never had an opportunity to do before, and to really talk through with them, this is what it means. This is, how demanding this class is going to be. And as Dr. Lewis said, each class will tell you approximately 5 hours a week for homework for this AP class, or however much it is. So the counselors will have a much bigger role with meeting with the students. That's going to give you more information. It's going to give the students more information. And I think between the conversations that everyone has, they'll be able to create a schedule that's going to be a better fit for them.
Quick question. For the 8th graders going into 9th grade next year, will they also be participating in this, or oh, okay.
Yeah, this will be right from anyone going into high school next year. So that course catalog, it will be out in the next couple weeks.
I'm sorry, who would be initiating that conversation between guidance and the student? Does the student seek out guidance, or do they, get pulled out of resource and just proactively?
Yeah, well, the school counselors are going to be pulling them each out, but always tell your students to be proactive with the counselors, right? And I know that was something that I really appreciated. If a student needs them, they should actively seek them out.
Well, here's a concern. Some of the guidances are not available in the morning or in the after-school slot. They're just not there. That was a big frustration for my daughter.
Okay, what grade?
She's a sophomore now.
She's a sophomore now.
That was all last year. It's difficult to... So I don't know if there's expected to come in a little earlier in the morning, like, I don't know, minutes before school at least, so they can drop in?
Yep.
Or how that works?
Yeah, they should be here at 7:40 in the morning until 3:40 in the afternoon. I'll follow up.
Okay.
Okay, so I think that it's going to be a much smoother process this year, and it's certainly going to have a lot more time for everybody to participate. And if you have any questions, reach out to department chairs if you have additional questions about classes, or the school counselors. And just a heads up, we have our music night is coming up January 24th at 6 p.m. in the upper school building. That's always a wonderful night for all our students to share the talents and things they've been working on this year. And then also just a reminder that applications to AMSA closes on January 12th, so if you have siblings and you haven't done your application yet, make sure you get that in. If you have friends who are interested in the school, please let them know. I'm going to be in Maynard tonight at the Maynard Public Library. If you have friends that live in Maynard who might want more information about the school, or they want to travel from another town and get some more information, then next week I'll be at the Clinton Public Library. And so, we're just kind of having an information night for them, have some slides and some general information to promote the school. So, anyone?
Great. I have one last update. Really happy to announce. I'm a big believer in travel and the importance of travel. I think travel provides, going to other countries, other regions of this world provides a tremendous opportunity for students to really see hands-on what they're learning about in a classroom. This past April, the history department did a World War II themed trip to Europe, so we went to London and Paris and Berlin, and it was just an absolutely fantastic opportunity to see the beaches of Normandy, to see Paris, to see London, to learn so much more about World War II. This year we have trips to Japan, we have trips to Rome, and to England with the science and math department, with the literature department, with the foreign language department. And then the following year, 2018 to 2019, in the spring of 2019, we just announced a trip to the Galapagos, which we're really excited about, a wonderful opportunity to see what Charles Darwin saw, to learn about biology and science and reinforce the science curriculum. That's the spring of 2019. So Miss Waldron, who is the head of our Lit department, English department, she is managing that trip. So if you have questions or thoughts about that, or if you're interested in it, please reach out to her. So it is 8:50, so we have the rest of the time for any and all questions. Questions and answers. Yes?
I'll go first. I just wanted to take a minute first to say thank you so much for really, seriously, like you addressed the three biggest things that were brought up. That's, in my past experience with schools, it's not necessarily heard of. So I appreciate that very much. You did it really timely by the time we all got back here. And just the invitation for engagement across the board is really, really something that's awesome. And it just is, it's helping me a lot with my kids. So that being said, now with regard, I brought up the homework thing and finding swimming and finding homework stuff, and I've had opportunities to talk to my child's teachers and to sit with the counselor and different people. She struggles in other areas as well. But my only suggestion, my only concern was so I got this and it came attached to an email. That basically, if you read the email and you're me or you're my daughter and you look at this, all it does is define the problem that I raised. It's not a solution, and it wasn't really helpful because it was information that I knew. I know that I have to go to all these different places to find the homework, and she is supposed to try to do that as well. And so the email, so my point is that when we're trying to come up with solutions to some of these issues, what it felt like to me was that the people wanted to reinforce and redefine their mission and what, not even their mission, but how they wanted to go about things, as opposed to trying to put themselves in my shoes or my child's shoes and say, all right, well, let's pretend you have this teacher, this teacher, this teacher, this teacher, and now you got to go figure out your homework for the night, and you got to go to these different places. And in honesty, and I don't mean this as a criticism, because I would not want to be a teacher ever in the whole wide world, ever in my whole life, ever, ever want to be a teacher. So I understand the struggle with them trying, having to have to supposedly live up to everything that's on the video, And a small example is when she says the planner should always be, and the teachers put aside time in before and after classes, and that just doesn't happen. It can't, and I get it. I think it's one of those, like, we would love to be able to achieve this. We're going to check every before and at the end of class, and we'd like to get there, but all of a sudden, instead you got 20 kids running in and nobody's got their homework, and half of them aren't even, have their backpacks and the books, and you got all these other things. So in utopia, yeah, it would be great if the teachers had that time to check 20 planners and check 20 kids, 6th grade, 11-year-old prepubescent kids whose brains fell out last year, and get it all done. But it just doesn't work. And so my experience has been, and I don't want to make it personal because I know I've talked to other people too, is that it doesn't happen. So when you look at the video and you're a parent like me, you're like, yes, I really want that to happen, but that doesn't happen. If I look at my daughter's math teacher's thing here, it says all the assignments and the attachments of the handouts are there. They're never there. There's never a handout in that Plus portal, ever. I have to go hunt it down. I have to email. I have to say, please, I have to type up my own sometimes because I've emailed multiple times trying to get it, and then I'm like, forget it. I'll just go into the textbook, find what they're talking about, and type it myself. So it's a utopia, but it's not reality. And I hope it's come across. I'm not trying to say this in a critical way at all, because I'm actually really loving the school and the teachers and the support that I've gotten, and the efforts to try and be, you know, tech savvy and have everything there. But one of the things with the planner, I did ask that, you know, I told them, I'm sorry, the planner is just not going to work with my child. It is a thing that doesn't work. We're giving up. We're not using it. We can't use it. I need y'all to just accept that, because it's been a battle for years to try to get. She's got really bad ADHD, and it just, that planner does not help. It just I bought 3 already this year, so just an example, because they just get, it's another thing to lose. So it doesn't work. But what would be really helpful for, I think, all of the 6th graders, her Latin teacher puts, and it shows them doing it here when they talk about Google Classroom, her Latin teacher actually enters the due date, and then it pops over to my daughter's Google Calendar. It just automatically goes there. So I saw that one day and I'm like, oh my gosh, it actually happens. Like, if she puts the due date in, it goes to Google Calendar, but none of her other teachers put due dates in. But if the teachers use the part that the girl in there shows them doing, put the due date in and then put your little table of contents, if that was done, it actually populates into their calendar, into their task to-do lists, everything. So for kids like my daughter, who she's got a Chromebook now as kind of an accommodation for one of her things. So for her, like, she cries, Mommy, I try, you know, like, she cries. She feels really bad, so it's not a lazy thing. She really wants to be able to do it, but I don't want to keep going on. I'm sure I probably brought up issues for a few different things, but my main point here is how does the problem-solving part of something like this that's really kind of multifaceted start from a perspective of the person, putting yourself in their shoes and saying, all right, let's walk through what we're asking them to do and see if this is realistic, because it is like a 45-minute to an hour process for a child 11 years old with ADHD to try to pull together all this information before they even sit down and do the homework. Sorry, that was really long.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I think I appreciate that, and I would love to chat more with you and really try to problem solve and help. I think your point is, it's very well taken. It's an imperfect solution. I think the perfect ideal solution would be one platform, one place for every teacher across the board. And in many ways, we're playing catch up to technology. And we've had Plus Portals for a number of years. It's an imperfect system. A lot of teachers are migrating to Google Classroom. They're really enthusiastic about it, and I totally get it, and I totally see it. And in many ways, it is much better than Plus Portals. So that is an imperfect solution, without doubt. But I do love to work with you to try to help your daughter.
One of the issues, you know, just to reiterate a little bit of what Andres said, but maybe to add a little bit to it, is that we do have 2 systems, right? And there's strong preferences between the 2 with the teachers. We did a professional development with them, is that November or October or something, where we did, it was October, we did additional Google Classroom training, because not everybody is comfortable or has the deep knowledge with it. A lot of them really prefer that. The issue, I think, comes in with Plus Portals is how our grades are processed and how you actually see grades, right? It creates the report cards. If a teacher is using Google Classroom, which is a great platform, and many of them really love it, and it's so much better for them in many ways, because big PowerPoints or video can be put into Google Classroom that cannot, Rediker and Plus Portal can't support that. So there's a lot more that Google Classroom can do. But in order for them to have it in both places, they've literally got to do the work twice, which when you have 150 or 180 students in your caseload, that's a lot. It's a lot of double duty. So what ends up happening is they do all their work through Google Classroom, and then they just take the individual grade and put it into like a grade book, and that calculates the grade for the end of the semester. And that's why there's the 2 areas. We can't let Plus Portal go, much as I would like to, there's other platforms that I would prefer to use, because right now that's the grade book that calculates the grade and keeps track of all of that. And that's why there's the two. And I'm not really sure what the solution is.
Ms. Lindsay, I would also like to thank you. I'm amazed at what you've done as far as programming and trying to address diversity at AMSA and the community, and I thank you very much for that. With respect to Plus Portal and Google Classroom, in my family, we just go to the Plus Portal. Is there any way, if there's a Google Classroom load or something that a student should look at in Google Classroom, just for the teacher to put in for that class a note in Plus Portal, go to Google Classroom?
There's supposed to be. That's part of the instruction that's been given, is that if that's the mode that they use in Google Classroom, that there's supposed to be a banner there that says, please see Google Classroom.
No, but for the particular assignment, so if you're looking
That's
at
where it that's where the double work, I think, comes in.
I don't think it's double work, because it's not for each individual student. It's for that particular class that the teacher is teaching. And
I thought that was done, no?
I'm not that on top of my kids, to be quite frank with you. Where I find a problem, and I don't know if there's a way to check on what the teachers are doing. My 7th grader over Thanksgiving had the experiment. You know what I'm talking about? Where you have to soak
The eggs. Yes.
Yeah, the eggs.
I want it.
You got to soak the eggs in the vinegar. And she got home on the Tuesday, and on Wednesday morning we're like, all right, let's start that experiment. And she goes, oh, Mom, I left the protocol at school. And I said, all right, go on the portal, see if the protocol's on the portal. Wasn't on the portal. I'm like, email the teacher, let her know that you need this protocol. I know it's Thanksgiving weekend. No email back from the teacher. And so because of that, she didn't get to start the experiment until she came back to school. And it backloaded her now for the last 2 weeks because she's got a chemistry project. And so in that situation, is there any way to check on the teachers to make sure they're uploading what they need to upload? Especially on the experiment, it's a major biology assignment.
And is that a teacher that doesn't use Google Classroom?
I don't, like I said, I'm not on top of my kids. I trust that I go in, I check their grades. If I see something that's not kosher, I go in and I have a conversation with my kids. I'm like, what's going on here? Go talk to your teacher. That's how I use it. I'm not micromanaging my kids. But at the same time, I think it's great that if they forget something at school, that they can go onto the computer and get what
handouts.
they
I agree.
need.
Oh, absolutely. They should
Handouts
absolutely
are
always
great.
be able to have access to whatever assignment they have, be it
It's not always
Plus
there.
Portals or Google. They should.
But is there any way, that's what I'm saying, is there any way to put in some oversight, especially with new teachers, to make sure they're doing what they need to do?
Yes, well, they should, every student should have access to the homework that they're assigned, and if it's not happening, it needs to happen.
Right, but I think-
And we would if you could let us know, we
I
can
can let you know.
investigate
Yeah, and I would say-
look into that.
Email the chairs.
chairs.
Yeah.
The department chairs.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and-
Dr. Jure for science, Luba Schmidt for math,
Okay.
Anders Still for history, language and arts is Miss Preston, and English is Miss Waldron.
Yeah, if you're, ever at a loss, I don't know what my son or daughter's homework is. I don't know what my son or daughter's grade is. If you can't find it, if you don't see it regularly posted, definitely always, first reach out to the teacher and say, geez, I want to know what the homework is. I want to know what the my son or daughter's grade is. And if you're having problems there, definitely reach out to the department chair. That is an expectation that we have of all of our teachers. They should be consistently posting grades. Grades should be updated twice a week. All homework assignments should be posted. And if
Twice
it's-
a month,
if
every
it's-
2 weeks.
If it's
Grades
right.
posted every 2 weeks.
And if it's not happening, you start with the teacher. Doesn't work with the teacher, confer with the department chair.
I think also it is more of a global issue. It's not an individual teacher issue. So I think the teachers and department chairs are reunited with people now saying,
Well,
and
I think that's okay.
it's, well, I guess I'm asking for, maybe top down to, as a reminder, say parents are concerned that.
Oh, that's done
information is
often.
And these
out
are the
there.
expectations.
Yes, and that's all. Those messages have all
It's
been
all
put
on
out
video.
there.
I mean,
Yeah, it's all video, but those expectations have certainly been expressed multiple times, but we don't get into the grade books, right? And so if you're not seeing what you need, and you let the teacher know, and then it goes to the department chair.
It's been, many years,
Yeah.
and it's still nothing's perfect, but it is definitely still a systemic issue.
I would love to have an offline conversation to learn about the classes and the subjects that's happening,
Yeah.
so that we can address that.
We have a department chair meeting this afternoon, so we can, once again,
I think
reiterate.
it's safe to just say it's really random for me, and from what I'm hearing, I think it's just like random across the board, because sometimes they're there, it's awesome, and then other times they're not. And the teachers you rely on, and you're like, oh, they always do it good, it'll be right there, and then one day it's not. And who knows, again, it's not because they're lazy, that's for sure. I don't have that impression at all, but I think it's safe to say it's kind
It
of.
should be consistent. You shouldn't be a
Yeah.
guessing game. You should be able to see homework and grades
Yep.
consistently and regularly. Yes.
Just along the same lines, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but is the expectation documented? Is there like a process document on
Yes.
posting homework?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that something that parents can also see, that documentation? Because I'm not sure what the expectation is that you're expecting of your teachers. I know what I expect, but maybe it's not realistic. So is that something that can be shared with?
Yeah, it's
It's an
part
internal document right now.
Okay,
it's part of our evaluation system as well.
all right. Yeah, so, I mean, I have the same exact, the whole experiment, we had the same problem. And I just find there's a lack of
So
consistency.
is your concern, just so I'm clear as to
Yeah.
what it is it the grades being updated, or is it the homework being
It's
posted?
more the homework assignment. I mean, I don't really, the grades, I understand, it takes time sometimes to grade things, and I'm also, I take a step back, so I'm not always in my student's business, but if she has a big project, I want to see what it is, and that's not always posted, so it's hard for the parent to even know what the assignment is. And if she forgot to bring it home, then, we're kind of stuck.
Yep. Yeah, we're hearing you. And we had a question over here.
I'm just so glad that everybody's bringing this up. I have a 7th grader. It's sort of feeding back to when you talked about the stress levels. I find that everything that I'm hearing and the remark about it being global feeds back to the student as a form of stress. And if more time is being spent to navigate where and what is due, including that we've had tests that are not posted, and so the grade has come back and I've had to ask for retest all the time and effort and emailing and the constant micromanaging by the parent that happens as a result of the system sort of falling apart. Referring back to, I have a 7th grader, but it sounds like this paper for the 6th graders, that every class my student has needed to learn the style of the teacher rather than using a standardized forum. And referring back to when you said that it's double the work for them to post it, if you think about all the emails, it's tripled the work or the stress levels of the students, so that they're not focusing on their academics. It's all about where is it, when's the test, and there's more energy there than just getting the work done. So I would be really interested in seeing, some proactivity happening, and I feel I've made, I've been a lot of effort through the email and the council, and they've all been great, and I love the school, but I also feel like it needs to come from the top down. And it needs to be a consistent style between the teachers. So I don't have to relearn every single year, every single teacher, every single style, who likes it, who doesn't, because that shouldn't be the focus of the students to have to micromanage the style of how the information is delivered to the personal style of the teacher. To some degree, yes, and that's part of learning for life, but I feel like, at least for my child at the 7th grade, and especially where computers sort of fall into this generation, that at this kind of school that it would make sense that they have the option to have it available in a computerized forum, since so much of the world operates. But it's really a very big stress, and honestly, it's stressing me out. And it's already December, you know, that we still don't know where we are, or when a test is, when a project is, this and that, you know. So.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to feel that way.
None of that's coming home in an agenda or the sheets.
It's so I mean, I know you're doing a video, but I almost want to ask for, you know, show of hands of who is struggling with this. I think it's a global problem.
Can I just offer one little tidbit of, my son had the experiment also. He left the paper at home, so he didn't have the rubric. He didn't get an email back from the teacher, but he actually reached out to his classmates. So he got everything done because a classmate had taken a photo and texted it to him. And so I just want to throw that out there, that, you know, it's good for your students to learn to collaborate with their peers also. I mean, they should be getting the information from the top down, but just for an additional resource, you know, my student at least was able to reach out to peers, and in the real world, that's going to happen when they get older anyways, especially once they get into high school. So I was just throwing that advice or tidbit out there.
But just to reiterate again, so I don't want you to feel that way. You shouldn't have to feel that way. We want to make it as easy as possible for parents and for students. It is our expectations. We have a department chair meeting today. We'll certainly be discussing that with department chairs. It is our expectation that homework is consistently posted, that grades are posted or at least updated twice a month. That should be happening. If it's not happening, that's a problem, and we want to address it. So, and we certainly will address it, and we definitely want to hear from you. And if you feel frustrated, we don't want you to feel frustrated. We want you to reach out to the teacher, reach out to the department chair. If none of that is working, reach out to us. You can always feel free to reach out to us. The best place to start is with a teacher, a department chair. If the problem's not resolved, that's a real problem. Problems need to be resolved, and you shouldn't have to go through what you have to go through, and we will address it, and we want to hear about it.
I just want to comment about reaching out to other students, especially with the experiment. I actually told my daughter, reach out to your friends, get the protocol from your friends. None of her friends had it. This was a problem. I think that the experiment was a real problem with 7th graders. And we
This
did that.
was a biology?
It's biology.
Was it biology or chemistry?
Biology.
Biology.
And the other thing you should know about the experiment is that there's the experiment, but then this week, starting tomorrow for my daughter and some of the students on Thursday, there's the chemistry project for the 7th graders, where they had to do the scavenger hunt and put all the different items in plastic bags with little numbers, and then they need to write down what they found and why it meets the criteria for the scavenger hunt. And that's what I'm talking about, where my daughter's now all backed up because of the experiment. She finished the experiment this weekend, and now she's missing her hockey practice tonight because she needs to get this chemistry project done that's quite involved. And I think with major assignments, they have to post those. Students should not have to rely on going to other students to get them.
The chemistry project though. My daughter's been working on that for a month.
Yeah,
So
mine
if your
too.
daughter waited until the last minute, that's not.
I understand, but she had a plan in place.
Well, so absolutely positively, there's no debate. Homework should be posted. Major projects should be posted years in advance. I mean,
We're on it again.
Without
We're on it again.
Without doubt. Without doubt.
You've got your gender redefined for today's meeting, don't you?
I have a different topic. It sounds like homework is
No, but excellent. We'll go to another topic. We hear what you're saying.
We do.
It is very much a concern, and we will be on it. And please reach out to us and let us know. Don't sit there and be frustrated. We want to hear those concerns. We want to work with you so that the next time we meet in February, we can come to each of you and you can say there's been progress.
That's the goal.
I look forward to that. I have 2 quick comments. One, I heard the Galapagos trip sold out like in the first day, and I had to work that night and missed the meeting, so I heard that's over. I have a girl who's going into 9th grade, but I have a friend who has a sophomore, and they said that they missed the opportunity too. So It was like a very quick, that was a quick turn. It sounded awesome. I was like, oh my God, can I go? Like, it sounded, so I think it's an amazing opportunity for the kids. And certainly that's why it sold out.
The history department will be announcing a trip for 9th through 12th grade to a Cold War themed trip for April 2019 as well.
Well, that leads into my second comment. I did just want to say, I know this is the Advanced Math and Science Academy, but I really think your treasures are in your other departments, and I wanted to applaud the history department, and not just because you're here, but I have 2 daughters. I'm not a history person. I was like a textbook. I struggled with history in school. I have 2 daughters there, so I'm on my 3rd AMSA history teacher, and I wish I'd had these teachers. Like, my daughter is a suspect in the murder of King Tut today. Like, I'm like, oh my God, can I be there? Like, so I just wanted to applaud those supporting departments because they don't get enough recognition. I think that's really where your strengths are.
So you know, there's a secret amongst the humanities teachers here that we're actually trying to change the name of the school. No offense to all the great math and science people, but we thought that we would change it to AHA, the Advanced Humanities Academy.
I
don't know if that'll go over too well.
I mean, it's made history lovers out of my children. So.
Oh, great. Thank you.
I've been in some amazing history classes myself. I've been doing a lot of hops from class to class, and I just kind of go in a hallway and just go all the way around, spend about 10 or 15 minutes. And I've seen some amazing teaching, amazing math teaching, amazing history. I'm blown away each and every time that I go into these classes and get a chance to see your students. But we have some amazing teachers here. It's an honor and pleasure to witness their teaching your children.
Is there anything like a parent conference night or anything like that? Do you have that? Absolutely.
You know, we have the back to school nights. We don't typically. We suggest that you meet one-on-one with your teachers because it's different from an elementary school where maybe you've got 1 or 2 teachers, the students, and so you can sit down with that teacher. But where our kids go from class to class to class, right? Like a high school, even in the 6th grade. I don't know that there's any way to have like one night where everyone does, conferences. So we suggest that
one grade stay behind every night. Like, say for instance, this 8th grade stayed behind that, and the 8th grade teachers, and the 8th grade students could come in and just meet. So the parents get to know the teachers face to face, and maybe some of the problems might be solved.
Yeah, but you could never have a one-on-one meeting with every, you've got 2 kids.
That's how people have done it. Like, obviously you'd come to if you have 2 kids on the same year, like twins, then it would be a problem. But if you have them in different years, you're becoming a different night.
Well, we have the parent night, the open house parent nights in September, so you get to see and listen to about the curriculum for the school year.
But I'm talking about like mid-year to see where your child is.
But that's more of an individual meeting, right? So you're sitting down.
I don't think you want to be doing that in a group setting because
different
parents are going to have different issues.
No, it's not in a group setting. It's like you have a time, like
I know at Hudson High you have to sign up for like a 5-minute slot.
Yeah, I guess, but if you have 20 to 25 kids in a class, the teacher's going to have enough time to see all.
It would literally be 2 minutes.
Yeah, they do that at many local high schools, like Hudson High, Marlboro High, and you would go in and sign up. Not every parent signs up, so you do have the opportunity.
You have about 20
to
minutes
speak.
for each person.
But I will say, I've done them many times. They're so rushed. I just don't feel it's the same quality.
See, I've had another total different. I've had an experience where I've had like 15, 20 minutes with a teacher, and we've really got to know where your child is, and you just feel a bit more comfortable. You know the person as well. Right now, it's just a person on the email. And having that personal contact with a teacher, sometimes that helps a lot of problems go away.
Absolutely. Yeah, my son's high school has a program where you meet all of their teachers for about 15 minutes.
Yes, that's it. But you put a time slot in, like if you do, the first teacher is 8 o'clock for you, I'm just making up a time, right? And then you'll go on to, then your next teacher will be at this time, this time. You might not be able to meet all of them, you might only have a choice of meeting 3 teachers, 3 subjects that you feel more concerned about. I mean, like, it might be like a biology teacher, you might want a maths teacher, or, but you have a little 15-minute slot with each one.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm thinking, you know, if you've got 150 students that you teach,
right.
and you probably have more because you have, let's say, there's 144 kids in 6th grade, so you have 144 kids plus you teach 1 12th grade elective. So now you've got 170 kids.
But
There's
you'll be
no way
surprised
that
on
you
how
can
many
give-
parents don't want to see them.
Yeah.
Even when we had these slots.
Yeah,
so
you're getting a very small number of parents who want to see them.
Yes,
Or
and
motivated
that's
to
the
see
only
them.
people, yeah. That's
But yeah, I mean, your point about the one-on-one relationship between the parent and the teacher, I think that's fundamental to our success as a school.
Yes.
Building those relationships is absolutely crucial, and they can help clear up a lot of
So
misunderstandings.
if you wanted to see a teacher, would you email one individually? And
yeah,
then
definitely.
Yeah, or you can email the counselor and say, I'd like to, would you please put together a meeting? I'd like to meet with you and the math and the science and the history teacher.
Okay.
And they can organize a meeting for you.
And they'll sit down with you for an hour. That happened to me
Yeah.
when my son was in 6th grade, just because of non-academic issues. But it was, I mean, I was shocked to walk into the room and have 4 or 5 teachers, and it was because, you know, they felt it was necessary. It was great. It was, and they met with me for almost an hour. So
Yeah. So that's usually pretty effective. As far as like another evening out to do a program like that would have to be negotiated into contracts. Because that's another evening required.
Yeah, no, I was wondering if there was something like that happening. Or like,
No, just you know, parent requests for meetings are always honored, and so if you need that, the school counselors are a good way to get that started because they can coordinate everyone's time.
So it's 9:22, so we have about 10 minutes or so. So
One quick question. After school help from teachers, what are the expectations for the teachers? Are they required to stay after school twice a week, or what can I?
once a week for an hour.
Once a week for an hour.
Yeah, and sometimes a teacher will say, just, you know, email me. They might have a free lunch. They might
they'll come in
early in the morning.
Most do more. Just FYI. That's been my
Last year
Yeah.
was the case. Last year it was incredible the
Yeah.
amount of time
Yeah.
we were just, you know, blessed.
Encourage
Yeah.
your child to reach out to the particular student or to the particular teacher, and I'm sure they'll be able to
A lot of them.
arrange a time.
I
They do
hear a
before
lot.
school as well?
Some of them.
Yes.
Some of them will. You know, sometimes daycare and things like that. So it's a personal
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
But there's or one afternoon required. But you'll see that most of them are here much more than that, and can take personal requests. There was something else I was going to throw in there.
Peer tutoring.
NHS does.
Yeah,
does
National
tutoring.
Honor Society.
How do you
Yeah.
get in touch with them? Like, how does that
There's posters.
There's
and there's an
an
email. But
email
Holly
You can-
Johnson.
we used.
Holly
Yeah.
Johnson and Peter Prue are the advisors for NHS. So you can reach out to them.
Yeah, Holly Johnson in the ELA department and Peter Prue in the history department. You can reach out to them and say, I would love a tutor.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of my favorite topics is the senior STEM that we run here, which a lot of people don't know about. So I keep trying to get the word out about that because it was such a great thing for one of my kids. We talked at one of the meetings, I'm not sure which one, about offering that to the juniors for the second half of the year. I happen to have a junior who knows nothing about it, even though her brother just went through the senior STEM. She's never heard of that either, evidently, which I don't know why. But it's such a great program. How are we getting that information to the juniors, and how is that going to work into their schedules?
Easy, and probably it's not out there because it's going to kind of seamlessly just happen so easily. But so what has happened, just to update everyone, so Senior STEM is run opposite of PE, phys ed. So for a senior, they take physical education, and so you've got a 8-day cycle, so it's 4 times in an 8-day cycle, but they go to Senior STEM in 2 of those. So PE, Senior STEM, PE, Senior STEM in an 8-day cycle. What we found is that by second semester, they're done with their applications, and they're just miserable in there. And so it's really difficult to keep them engaged. And so what we're going to do is we're going to send them back to PE, so they'll do 4 PEs in the 8-day cycle. And we're going to pull juniors out, and juniors are going to be seen 1 day in the 8-day cycle. So at some point in there, 4 times going to PE, one of those days they'll go to a computer lab, and they'll start working on their college lists and and research and things like
Some
that.
people don't know what the senior STEM is, and it's such a great
So
thing.
the senior STEM, right, they work on their college applications and scholarships, and they have the counselors run those, and it's a workshop style.
It's so much more than that. It's so great, because they learn about how to research the schools that they might be interested in, what's important, and what are the things they should look at when looking at a school, how to search out scholarships, that they're not just a list, they have to actually go and search for these things, and very helpful information for, living with roommates and, the whole college experience.
And the financial aid process, we talked to them that. I don't know if they're is deep into that part. I had a lot of background in the financial aid and FAFSA and things like that, so I had worked that in and talked to the kids about, if you take out this number, this amount in loans each year, now it's times 4, more or less, let's put this into a calculator and look at the mortgage payment you're going to have, after you graduate from college. Let's balance that out with going to this school, and so we'd run them through different scenarios. So there's a lot of great things that happen in senior STEM, but what we're finding is
it's
that
monopoly money to them, so I'm glad
it's monopoly money to them. Yeah, I'm a mother of 4. It's not monopoly money to me. So with junior STEM will be a little bit different, but it will be getting them ready so that when they start senior STEM in September, they've got their list together. For the most part. I mean, some wiggle room always, but that they're organized, they know what they're working on, they know what they should be writing their essays on over the summer. That's something that they work on, and so there's a curriculum in place now for that. And it's going to start, January is the 23rd, 24th, which is the beginning of second semester. So it's just they'll go and they'll talk to them. It's all worked out with the PE teachers. And it's another place where we're putting a lot of the social emotional curriculum, especially the middle school, they started in DS, they were going in and they talked about, they're picking a topic a month. They did empathy last month. I'm not sure what the topic is for December, but they were going into DS. It was taking a little bit of time away from the kids, and the kids were kind of like, oh no, I have math work I need to do. So they're splitting the time now with PE, and the counselors are going into phys ed, and they're working with the kids on some of those topics.
So just a shameless plug then. So the January PTO meeting, the first Wednesday in January, where actually the alumni that come back to the school that talk to the seniors, a few of them come and talk to the PTO meeting, and you can bring your students that aren't seniors, well, you can bring your seniors, but they already talked to them. So you can bring your other students to the meeting if they wanted to hear a little bit more about life after AMSA, the first Wednesday in
That's a lot of fun.
Was there a change in the lunch schedule for 7th graders, like with their pickup time, or I had heard my son saying, they're coming down on us when the first bell rings now, we have to have our lunch bags in our lockers, and because I've noticed his lunch hasn't been finished,
Oh
and
my
I'm like,
goodness,
how
I'm
come
hearing
you
from
have
several
not?
7th graders.
Seventh
When the
grade.
time that they sit down and they leave, it's like 2 bites. I've heard from several 7th graders.
Know
They
if
don't
there was
understand
a
what's
recent
happening.
change in procedure.
I can check into that, not that I'm aware of,
Okay.
Okay.
but I'll check.
That would be 7th grade.
7th
Yep.
grade, yep.
Yep.
They're the middle lunch, so my guess is that's where the squish is probably
the
happening, is that, they head back to class,
Should be
but
the same for everybody.
yeah, well, they may be thinking that they're moving them forward,
Yeah.
they're coming in as other people are leaving, so it may take a little bit more time for them to actually get in a seat and
Yeah,
settle
the
down,
mechanics of it, yeah.
and then you got, they're
It has to do with with their pickup time. Like, there's a warning bell, and before, I think that at that point, their warning bell, they could start wrapping up, but now their warning bell, they're supposed to be heading to their locker now, and because I'm just like, how come your lunch isn't being finished?
It may sound small, but
Yeah.
for a skinny kid
Oh,
who's
absolutely.
8 hours in school,
Yeah.
she's got to eat. I'm like, you can't talk.
Yeah.
Put the protein in the mouth first.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'll check
Okay, if
into
you
that.
can just check, she's a very responsible kid, so she's like, I'm like, I gotta eat, yeah.
Yes.
If you could just check.
It's
Wow.
the food and the break in the day.
My
Yeah, it's very
goodness.
important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is she bringing her lunch or is she buying her lunch?
But bringing, always.
Okay.
I just wanted to say the communication out of the guidance group this year, far better than it's ever been. So that's much appreciated.
Love our new director of school counseling,
Yes.
Kate Driver.
Kate Driver,
Yeah.
she rocks.
She
She rocks.
We've got some amazing people. the team of people that I have around me every day.
If you can give back to them, a little 7th grade girl has already quoted several things that were told in those little meetings you're talking about in life situations. Yes. So
That's great.
Please give the feedback that, and this is a kid who doesn't talk. She heard some things that were very speaking to real life.
Yeah, yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. We got great people here. Just Kate and Maureen LaBelle, Dan, James, Mike, him, the big guy.
I know you probably can't give any type of a building update, but any idea, like, do you think by the end of this school year that we might know what the direction is?
By the end of the school year, oh man.
I'm giving you 6 more months. Just as a, I know you probably can't share anything right now, but
I profoundly appreciate where you're coming from with that. Teachers have that concern and frustration and kind of angst as well. We do too. I wish I could say more. All I can really say, and Ms. Lindsay, is that there's
they're working.
Team, they're working really, really, really hard on many, many levels, and there's a whole lot taking place, I assure you.
Some parents have told me that they're very nervous, and I've said I don't have any.
We're not nervous.
Then we're not going to show up with a go to the local Y sign. I'm not spending any energy, right? You guys are going to have a place. We're going to have a school.
I'm not nervous about it. I'm not losing any sleep over this at all.
Is it possible that it's going to be another town?
We have to be within our 4 core towns.
We do, and there's different layers to that. Like, we have to be within the 4 core towns, but in order to leave, Marlboro is huge. I mean, I can't even imagine thinking about that.
That was the only concern I have, even if there was a sign on the door, as long as they tell me where to go, okay?
Yeah. No, I don't think we feel any stress about the building. There's a lot of other things to feel stressed about. The building's not really one of them.
I don't. And we have, the Board of Trustees is heavily involved in it, and they have, our folks on the board have lots and lots of expertise in all these various areas. So I'm 100% confident it will.
If you can make these 2 buildings work, you can make anything.
Yeah.
Or 3 buildings, I should say, right?
Yeah.
I'll also
make
say,
that work in a parking lot and everything else. That's crazy people driving around. You're doing well.
Literally, the second that we are able to say something, we will say something.
You better believe it.
It'll be out there. Mr. Finkel will broadcast. So
we'll get the video.
It is 9:33. Yep.
This is a minor point, but the middle school backpack policy, they have to wear those string backpacks. My daughter's back is killing her because you can't adjust the string so that it fits properly on her back.
You know, there's a lot of different types of string backpacks, and some of them actually have some fairly. Ask her to take a look around and see if she sees some of her friends or some people that she knows that have some fairly thick strings, and they almost look like backpacks, except they lay much.
I found one on Amazon.
They lay much flatter.
Christmas tree for my kids.
They kind of lay much flatter to their backs, but they've got a wider, strap. I would try something like that. It's just even when you watch the video, you can see just how, and go visit sometime, right? How narrow those staircases are. And there's times that I'm going down there and all the kids are coming up, especially heading down to the cafeteria in the lower school, that, they're little, and you're just like trying to navigate down the stairs without, so it's narrow. It really is.
So it's 9:34. So just a few quick things. One, so the big issue I heard was about homework and posting of homework and accessing homework. So we're going to go at that. I do want to say to the folks who did raise those concerns, please don't feel frustrated. Whenever you're feeling frustrated, reach out to the teacher, reach out to the department chair, reach out to Miss Lindsay and I want to sit. If you're feeling frustrated, that's not good. I'd like to sit down with you and talk and really work it and find out what is happening and how we can address those issues. Second thing is, as always, all of your ideas and thoughts and concerns are really, really important to us. We really want to address them very forthrightly and very openly. We really appreciate all of the input that all of you have, and hopefully we'll continue to have. Our school works best when we all work together. And the relationship that we have with our students, the relationship the students have with their teachers, that parents have with their teachers, that parents have with administration is absolutely fundamental. We need to all work together, help each other, and if we do that, we can build the AMSA that we all want. Third thing is our next family forum is a bit away. It's in February 6th.
It's an evening.
But certainly, you know, if before that time things come up, you want to reach out, and if you just want to reach out and talk further about anything, there are no doors, there are no walls. Contact me. I will sit down with you and we can talk. I don't care what it's about. It could be about anything too. It could be about why Tom Brady is an overrated quarterback. That is
you know where you live, right?
Tom Brady is the man.
Yeah.
He is the man.
No. And then I'm sure Miss Lindsay wants to say something too, but I hope all of you, if I don't see you again, have an absolutely fantastic holiday and a fantastic New Year too.
Yeah, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. And we all know that Tom Brady is the man. The Patriots would be nothing, nowhere without him. I'm a huge Pats fan and New England sports.
Oh,
and
sure.
that's our
I'm
rivalry.
a New Yorker, so
he's a New Yorker.
And Jets even do it.
So anyway, we can have some fun with that. But yeah, once again, thank you for being here. And you know, Dr. Lewis always says it best. What matters to you matters to us. And we're hearing you loud and clear on the homework. And I know the whole time you're talking, my mind's, I'm a logistics person, so I'm thinking how to do it. And he's the guy that drives everything. So we will work together on it. We'll get it right, and we'll get it right as quickly as we can. So thank you. Have a wonderful holiday season. Enjoy your 2 weeks off.
I just bought it. I was so excited.
Hi.